Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2050 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we are commemorating the Day of Seafarer on every 25th of June. So, for 2024, the campaign will look at the seafarers' contribution to making the maritime sector a safe workplace. To engage seafarer, we want them to share their best safety tips at sea, whether it's the gear they wear on the training they receive. As part of the campaign, we'll be asking seafarers to share a picture of them in their working environment, highlighting how they keep their workplace safe. So, as part of the campaign, we'll be asking seafarers to share a picture of them in their working environment, highlighting how they keep their workplace safe. So, let's watch IMO Secretary General Arsenio Dominguez video message on the day of the Seafarer 2024. Just a second.
I'm on board the Green Pioneer, an ammonia vessel in Singapore. And I want to extend my warm appreciation to all seafarers everywhere. We know that without seafarers, there will be no shipping, no shopping, and no supply chain. Seafarers prove their professionalism day in and day out, all over the globe, but far from the public eye. Seafarers have been sorely tested in recent years, currently facing hostile acts from piracy or in conflict zone. I humbly acknowledge seafarers' resilience and sacrifice in the name of work. Seafarers, I have seen you work on deck and below, in engine rooms, on bridges, in canteens and in cargo holds, making the world's largest methods of transportation go. And you do this with the highest levels of safety while always ready to tackle emergency situations. Clearly, no one knows your work better than you. Your experience is absolutely vital for the future of shipping in a safe sector. So I would like to invite you, seafarers, to join the safety conversation. We want to hear from you. Let us know how you keep up with the pace of technological change and innovation to stay safe on board, and how you cope with mental challenges. I invite you to share your photos to top tips for safety at sea. Please share using the hashtag #SafetyTipsAtSea. I look forward to seeing your post. Wherever you are, at sea or at home, I wish you a happy International Day of the Seafarer.
The sea, vital to life on Earth, a source of food and energy, and the highway for the thousands of ships that link the countries of the world through trade. But seafaring, vital task though it is still a dangerous business. Wherever they are upon the oceans, ships and their crews have to endure the worst that the elements can throw at them. The safety of shipping is therefore a global concern. It requires coordinated efforts at international level. The organization charged with responsibility for the safety, security, and efficiency of shipping, as well as the prevention of marine pollution from ships, is the International Maritime Organization, IMO. Set up by an international convention as a United Nations agency, the London-based IMO started work in 1959. It's used by member governments to draw up internationally agreed standards that can be applied to all ships. Its mission statement is safe, secure, and efficient shipping on clean oceans. Shipping is a truly international industry. A single ship may have many different countries involved in its construction, ownership, operation, crew and safety inspections. By their very nature, ships also move between countries and jurisdictions. Hence the need for universal standards recognized and implemented by all countries. IMO now has more than 170 member states and associate members, taking in virtually every nation in the world with an interest in maritime affairs. Most are directly involved in the shipping industry and have an interest in protecting their marine environment. In addition, a number of other organizations representing a wide variety of interests have consultative status at IMO and take an active part in developing standards. IMO's governing body is an assembly made up of all member states and chaired by a president. There's a secretariat led by a secretary general, and also a smaller council and technical committees which work together with the permanent staff to achieve the objectives of the organization. That work is primarily carried out through specialized committees and subcommittees of experts representing their governments, each of which meets at least once a year. What really counts, though, is the application of IMO measures aboard ships. There are around 50 treaty instruments and conventions, and hundreds of other measures, such as guidelines and codes of practice. They influence almost every aspect of shipping, from design and construction to maintenance and operations, from ship and port security to crew training. The main categories are safety and security, protection of the marine environment, accident response, compensation for injury or damage, and facilitation of maritime transport. IMO's environmental work covers a remarkably broad canvas, embracing everything from the transportation of microscopic aquatic life forms in ships' ballast water to the use of harmful anti-fouling paint on ships' hulls. But it is the MARPOL Convention that remains the most important international treaty instrument in this field, covering the prevention of virtually all possible sources of marine and atmospheric pollution, such as pollution from ships by oil, by noxious liquid substances carried in bulk, by harmful substances carried by sea in packaged form, by sewage, by garbage, and most recently, pollution of the air from ships. Shipping is one of the few industries that affect almost everybody. More than 90% of world trade is carried by sea. As a result of IMO's work over many decades, shipping has steadily become safer, more secure, and more environmentally friendly. Fewer ships and lives are lost at sea, and fewer pollutants find their way into the environment from ships than ever before. The International Maritime Organization has been very successful in carrying out its mandate, but the future will still present plenty of challenges. The need for an international forum for the world's shipping nations is as strong now as it has ever been. In a constantly evolving maritime world, only a global view of the issues, combined with global cooperation, can achieve safe, secure, and efficient shipping on clean oceans, the common aim for all nations.
Today, I'm asking you to embrace the International Day of Women in Maritime as a significant step towards promoting diversity and inclusion, not only in the maritime domain, but across all spheres of society. The goal is not just to honor women's successes, but also to advocate for equal opportunities and to unlock the full potential that a diverse workplace offers, to shine a spotlight and raise awareness on the challenges they face, discrimination, disparities, and limitations with regard to career opportunities. Indeed, the maritime sector offers multitude of prospects for women, spanning from seafaring to engineering, from law to logistics and beyond. Let us not be complacent. There remains much work to be done. We must lead by example, serving as role models, striving to create inclusive, empowering, and safe working environments for women. This year, our theme is Safe Horizons, Women Shaping the Future of Maritime Safety, underscoring the pivotal role women play in enhancing safety measures within our industry. Join me in championing diversity and fostering a workplace culture that breaks down all barriers to achieving gender equality. Let us make this commitment not just for today, but every day of the year. I invite you to engage on social media using the hashtag Women in Maritime Day. Share with us your insights. What does the future of maritime safety look like to you? What opportunities lie ahead as we navigate towards a greener and more digital maritime sector? And to all of you, I leave you with a challenge. Move beyond the statements and ask yourself, what steps am I taking to amplify the meaningful participation of women in the maritime industry? I look forward to your positive actions towards building a more inclusive and diverse maritime community.
So today we are commemorating International Day of the Seafarer because 25th is the day of the seafarer. This is a day for seafarers of all stripes, from coast guards to navies to every fisherman and marine biologist and cruise ship captain. If your job involves a large quantity of salt water, then this day is dedicated to you. The first documented sea voyage was made around 3200 BCE and was bankrolled by the Egyptian pharaoh Snefru. He also built at least 3 pyramids during his reign. Today, over 90% of the global trade is done by sea, since it is still the most effective way to transport goods. Marine biologists and oceanographers from every country have dedicated their lives to learning more about the ocean depths, and humans from every walk of life keeping to the sea to explore the planet. The first documented sea voyage is made with the support of Egyptian pharaoh Snefru around 3200 BC at the Conference of Parties to the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers, STCW. The resolution establishing the Day of the Seafarer is adopted in June 2010. The Day of the Seafarer is celebrated for the first time in 2011. The theme for the Day of the Seafarer campaign is Our Seafarer Future in 2020. So if you live near a Coast Guard outpost, you might consider dropping in. And this is a great opportunity not only to learn more about what the Coast Guard does, but also to thank them for doing their jobs as well. Baked goods rarely go amiss in this situation. If you don't live near a Coast Guard outpost, you can always make a monetary donation online. So while Titanic is a classic, it may be the time to branch out into lesser known stories. From high stake adventures like The Finest Hours of Treasure Island to heart rendering disaster stories like The Perfect Storm or The Poseidon Adventure, maritime stories are always rife with drama. And okay, it isn't time you watch Jaws again. So Coast Guard isn't the only organization that accepts donations. Oceana is an international group dedicated to protecting and restoring the world's oceans and the species that live there. So while the Family Support Project provides emotional and practical support for the families of seafarers, there are dozens of other causes as well which would you like to support. You can choose. Trade by sea is vital to the economy. As we mentioned before, the vast majority of international trade is done by sea due to relatively low cost and greater economy of space. If trade by sea were limited in some way or stopped altogether, there is no way that the global economy would be able to function. In other words, we owe our current ways of life to those who travel the seas. And scientific research is vital to human life. Not only does trade by sea make up most of the global economy, but also the ocean themselves take about 70% of the planet itself. Over 1 million species of plants and animals live in the ocean, and scientists estimate that there may be up to 9 million species in there that haven't discovered it. Everything we know about the ocean today, we know thanks to the tireless work of thousands of oceanographers and marine biologists who dedicate their lives to the study of those watery depths. When it comes to saving people's lives at sea, we have two lines of defense. We have navies keeping us safe in times of war, and we have coast guards to keep us safe from natural disasters, criminal activity, and environmental deterioration. The ocean is as important as it is, poses a significant threat to American life, and without those organizations, humans might be in more danger. Today is also commemorated as Please Take My Children to Work Day in US. It is a day when stay-at-home parents can ask their parents or friends to take their children to work with them so that they can get a break from full-time parenting and recharge their batteries. It is a great way to lower your stress levels and take out some quality time for yourself without feeling guilty about neglecting your kids. Even though there are many households in which both parents are working, some homes still have at least one day at home parent. At least that was the case in 2003 when Jen Singer was inspired to start a new tradition in which stay-at-home parents could enjoy a full day to themselves by sending their kids off to the office with their partners or friends. Jen Singer runs the popular award-winning parenting blog called momosaid.com, Net. On her blog, she writes about her experiences of raising two sons and challenges that come with it. The blog became very popular since there are few blogs at that time that address parenting in such an open and humorous way. Although this is not an official national holiday, parents across the United States gave Singer their support when she proposed the Please Take My Children to Work Day to be celebrated every year. As the people's awareness about the importance of stress management grew, more aligned themselves with Singer's campaign and been observing this day. Parenting can be very stressful, especially for parents who assume the full responsibility of looking after all their kids' needs, be it their schooling, recreation, diet, and playtime. Moreover, since such parents do not get a chance of environment, the stress simply keeps adding to the point where it begins to take a toll on their health. This is exactly what Singer meant when she began talking about the need for the stress relief stay-at-home parents, even though she proposed the idea as a fun way to address parenting stress. Please Take My Children to Work Day has become a symbolic recognition of the difficulties that stay-at-home parents have to deal with daily. Jen Singer launches a parenting blog for moms in 2003. Forbes magazine awards Mama Said with the best of the web design in 2005. Jen Singer is diagnosed with stage 3 cancer in 2007. Please Take My Child to Work Day is celebrated in the state of Colorado in 2008. Prepare a list of do's and don'ts with them and carry out a mock rehearsal if needed. The excitement of going with their parents to their workplace can motivate kids to be there on their best behavior. Try talking to them about how you have been feeling lately and how their support would mean to you. By talking about our feelings, we can help our partners see things from our perspective. The point is to have some time at home enjoying a break from parenting. If your partner works in a factory or other environment that is not safe for kids, try asking a close friend or even your parents or to take your kids to work. So getting a spa treatment is one of the best ways to pamper yourself and relax your stressed nerves. Depending on what works for you, get yourself a simple head massage or a full body massage treatment. You can also go for the added manicure and pedicure to get that clean, pampered look. With no other appointments or worries about picking up the kids from school, you can enjoy the spa treatment to the fullest. A good way to enjoy yourself is to contact an old friend you haven't spoken with for a while and set up a launch date with them. By talking about old times, learning about their lives, you can find yourself reflecting on your own journey and thinking about the ways in which you can manage your life in a better way. If you don't feel like leaving the house, simply enjoy the day getting your own stuff sorted around the house. Simple things like cleaning out your wardrobe, looking after your plants, or going through some old belongings can be quite relaxing and can be helped to center your mind. By the time the kids are back, you should be in such a more relaxed mood. According to the psychologists, parenting stress is a reality that parents experience when they have fewer resources to meet parenting demands. Research shows that reaching out to a family member or trusted friend can help in reducing parenting stress. Studies show that comparing yourself with social media content that shows happy parents increases feelings of inadequacy. Stay-at-home parents who perceive themselves as inferior to other parents often experience higher parenting stress. Planning a daily list of tasks and activities can help to reduce parenting stress. Too many stay-at-home dads and moms suffer from mental stress. Being around the children all day and dealing with their different issues has a negative impact on physical as well as mental health. By celebrating Please Take My Children to Work Day, stay-at-home moms and dads can enjoy a much desired break from all the stress and restore their mental health. By celebrating Please Take My Children to Work Day, parents who normally can't spend time with their kids all the day, at least one day a year to spend with them. So this not only helps them to bond with their children, but also begin to appreciate the hard work that partners put in to look after the kids all day. Kids also learn the importance of both parents in their lives by observing their mom or dad. They can get inspired about their own career goals and how they want to make their living. It makes them feel proud of their parents and appreciate their sacrifice. Today is also Statehood Day in Slovenia. Every year in Slovenia, this day has been set aside to honor, respect, celebrate, and commemorate the country's declaration of independence from Yugoslavia in 1991. Slovenia gained its independence. If you are guessing June 25th, here's an interesting fact. Although Statehood Day of Slovenia is considered to be June 25th, the nation's independence did not come until June 26th. Let's learn everything about the history, significance, important events, way to celebrate, and interesting facts about Slovenia's statehood. Slovenia's Statehood Day is national holiday celebrating that nation's independence, Yugoslavia. Although the formal declaration of independence for Slovenia did not come until June 26, 1990. Slovenia's Statehood Day is celebrated every June 20th because that was the date on which the initial acts regarding the independence were passed to make Slovenia independent. Most people confuse Slovenia's Independence and Unity Day, celebrated each year on December 26 with Statehood Day, but the former is a completely different day. It is celebrated in the honor of December 26, 1990. Official proclamation of the results of the plebiscite that was held 3 days earlier. On the plebiscite, 95% of all Slovenian voters voted in the favor of making Slovenia a sovereign nation. However, the celebration was short-lived. During that time, proclamation started the 10-day war with Yugoslavia. During this war, Yugoslavian army tanks headed from barracks in Slovenia and Croatia to Slovenia's borders with Italy, resulting in a terrible clash. Later in October 1991, the last Yugoslav troops left Slovenia. Today, Slovenia is one of the most peace-loving nations in the world, ranking 5th place out of 163 nations in 2021 Annual Global Peace Index. So it is also one of the world's most environmental friendly nations with an environmental performance index, EPI rating at 67.30, only below Denmark and UK, Finland, Malta, Sweden, and Luxembourg. Moreover, after those many years after independence, a remarkable 53.6 of Slovenia is protected land. And this is a higher percentage than any nation on earth except Venezuela. The declaration of Slovene, Croatian, and Serb representatives is signed in the Vienna Parliament in 1917. Croats and Serbs break off all relations with Austria-Hungary and proclaim the state of slowness in 1980. A vote emerges in favor of establishment of an independent Slovenia In 1990, the legislation relating to the independence of Slovenia is passed. In 1990, Slovenia is a very safe country to travel as a violent crimes as very rare in the nation. It's also one of the most peaceful nations in the world. The official and national language of Slovenia is Slovene, spoken by a large number of people in the nation. Italian and Hungarian are other recognized languages in the country. Slovenia is famous for its beautiful landscapes, lakes, and dramatic scenery. Slovenia is also the perfect place for adventure seekers and nature lovers. Slovenia is an awesome country that is rich in culture and wealth. So if you are looking for a sign to go on a trip, plan your visit to Slovenia. The beauty and culture of it will captivate you. If you are that lucky someone who has already visited the beautiful country of Slovenia, share it with your friends and family. Encourage others to visit the country. In Slovenia, beekeeping is an identity. There are around 90,000 beekeepers in a population of 2 million. Kranjska Gora in Slovenia is one of the cheapest resorts in Europe. Slovenia's capital, Ljubljana, is a region renowned for hiking and whitewater rafting. Školjin Caves in Slovenia are one of the largest underground canyons in the world, which is a World Heritage Site. Slovenia has a tidal coastline of just about 30 miles, and yes, you can take a dip on the beach. Slovenia's Statehood Day is a national holiday celebrating independence. The independence of Slovenia is a result of the effort and sacrifice of thousands of people. Although shops and other stores may be closed on Slovenia's Statehood Day, the day is marked by festivals and a ceremony nationwide. It's a day that calls for enjoyment. Slovenia's Statehood Day is not just a day to celebrate independence, but a day to remember and honor the people behind it. It would be unjust to forget and not honor the day. The Day of the Filipino Seafarer is also commemorated on June 25th. Philippines, with also the International Day of Seafarer. The Day of Filipino Seafarer is celebrated on June 25th every year in the Philippines. This is one of the most iconic days celebrations in the Philippines and has been celebrated regularly for a few years. As a tribute to the marine industry workers, the Philippines hopes to promote awareness of the critical role that maritime workers play. Today, the Philippines is one of the world's largest providers of maritime services, with a major section of its population involved in industry, giving this holiday a special meaning. The Day of Filipino Seafarer is a relatively recent day, celebrated for the first time in 2014. It was only after the recommendations of the International Maritime Organization to the United Nations that they later officially declared June 25th of the year as a Day of Seafarer. Upon its first celebration, this day was mainly an international observance, with many countries taking part as a way to honor local maritime industries and their workers. This celebration quickly took on special significance in the Philippines as one of the biggest suppliers of maritime services in the world. As of today, Philippine maritime workers and seafarers account for more than 25% of the total maritime workers in the world. Many people in the Philippines are employed in this sector and are deployed in the international shipping operations for months on end. This risk associated with the line of work and the important role it plays make the holiday one of the most celebrated in the Philippines. Seafarers are typically encouraged to share their wisdom and experience with other seafarers during the special celebration. Many professional and international maritime and shipping workers associations offer webinars, celebrations, and training programs for seafarers as a result of this. Because this is one of the most dangerous professions, affecting training is as important as credit for sailors' efforts. Many countries around the world are commemorating the Day of the Seafarer today, with the Philippines taking the lead in honoring the brave men and women who work in the maritime industry. The first maritime trade routes are created in the Arabian Sea to facilitate trade between India and parts of Africa around 3000 BC. The earliest shipping company in history, the British Shipping Company, is established in 1730s. The International Maritime Organization is founded as an effort to consolidate efforts and provide training for seafarers around the world. 1948, the first international commemoration of the Day of Seafarer takes place in 2011. According to many statistics, more than 1 million Filipinos are working in the global shipping industry, making the country one of the top producers of the professional specialty. Seafarers run the global economy. 90% of the world's food, fuel, raw material, and manufactured goods are delivered by sea. Nearly all things sold worldwide are transported through ships, which need skilled seafarers to operate, maintain, and repair. The life of seafarers can be far from idyllic, and many international seafarers regularly competing long-term voyages that leave them isolated from friends, family, and loved ones for up to 9 months at a time. So seafarers perform some of the most relentless professions in the world. It wouldn't be very hard to give back to these industrious workers. You can team up with other community members to organize a small celebration. Many efforts and activities are dedicated to assisting seafarers and increasing awareness of importance of their profession would be made, particularly on the Day of Filipino Seafarer. Any of these groups could always use a helping hand so that you can volunteer with them. Although this is an international celebration, it has taken on a special significance in the Philippines, where it is one of the most important days. Visiting this beautiful country during one of the most important celebrations can be fun and engaging experience. So, percentage of the world trade, commercial shipping is the lifeblood of the economy and accounts for 90% of the international trade. Shipping leaves a smaller carbon footprint than other forms of shipping like cargo or trucks. According to many estimations, there are currently more than 15 million containers being shipped, which applies to any given time. Most large container ships have the capacity carrying more than 11,000 containers across a journey. Only 10% of maritime personnel will have access to the internet or other communication services during their voyages, leaving others completely lonely at times. It is the biggest employer in the Philippines. The maritime industry is one of the most important employers in the Philippines, employing more than 25% of all nautical workers globally. Given the dangers involved in this type of employment, it is a remarkable achievement on the part of Filipino people. Maritime workers and seafarers are among the most important members of the global economy. The flow of products and international trade would cease if mariners were not present, making them indispensable. Seafarers are one of the most underappreciated professions, regarded not only by international organizations but also by their own countries. If you look past their smart uniforms and fancy travel itineraries, you can see through rough life they lead and the hardships they face at sea to ensure that the world and its people continue to enjoy their lives on land. Today is also commemorated as World Vitiligo Day. Vitiligo is a skin disorder that affects 1 to 2% of the population. It is a lifelong disorder that causes discoloration of patches in different areas of the body as well as a total loss of skin color. Other symptoms include hair tuning, prematurely gray or white, and eyelashes or eyebrows losing color and turning white. While World Vitiligo Day was first celebrated in 2011, and it is also known as Vitiligo Awareness Day or Vitiligo Purple Fun Day, as purple is the official color representing the condition. Vitiligo has been mentioned in the text of almost every major religion, and its first description dates back more than 3,000 years. The end of the 19th century was a time of much progress in terms of understanding vitiligo. Doctors observed that episodes of emotional stress led to flare-ups of vitiligo. They also noticed that none of them available treatments made much impact on the disease. During the 1940s, it was observed that vitiligo may be genetic, as a disorder affected families. World Vitiligo was first celebrated in 2011 with the inaugural event taking place in Lagos, Nigeria. Michael Jackson was one of the most well-known celebrities who suffered from this condition. He passed away on June 25, 2009. Thus, Vitiligo Day is observed on June 25th in his honor. In 2013, World Vitiligo Day changed its headquarters from Rome to Detroit. The movement steadily grown over years from a handful of volunteers to 484,687 activists and 50 plus clinics offering free skin checkups in 17 countries. Many events are being hosted across the globe. Another part of the awareness campaign helps those with vitiligo to overcome any insecurities they have. They have been organized by local organizations and have taken place in person as well online. In 2020, WBD, a webinar in China, was watched by 5.51 million people. The first mention of vitiligo is described in both pre-Hindu and ancient Egyptian texts that give a clear record of depigmentation around 1500 BC. Celsus uses the word vitiligo in his Latin book De Medicina in 1st century AD. Vitiligo is unknown to Europe and is confused with leprosy and other disorders. In between 1050 to 1348. So doctors discovered that there is no cure and treatments available and do not make an impact on the disorder. Doctors discovered that there is no cure and the treatments available do not make an impact on the disorder. Over 5 lakh people signed the petition to ask the UN to officially recognize World Vitiligo Day in 2015. The headquarters moved to Mexico in 2022. 25june.org is a website associated with Vitiligo Research Foundation, a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization existing under the laws of state of Delaware, US. June is Vitiligo Awareness Month. There are different types of vitiligos. Non-segmental vitiligo and segmental vitiligo are the two main types of vitiligo. Purple is the color of vitiligo awareness. You can participate by wearing the shirt and encouraging others to do the same. Educate yourself about this disorder. You can always run a fundraiser or host an event to raise money for vitiligo research. There is still much prejudice against people with vitiligo. Educate people around you that is not contagious or sickness like leprosy. So vitiligo can be managed by eating correctly, taking care of your skin, by not exposing yourself to too much sun, using organic lotions, exercising, and reducing stress. There are different types of vitiligo, and these different types have different origins and causes. Vitiligo is not contagious. It cannot be spread from one person to another via direct or indirect contact. It is found on the skin around the eyes, mouth, elbows, wrists, hands, and ankles. Winnie Harlow, John Hamm, and Joe Rogan are some of the celebrities who have this disorder. Vitiligo is a forgotten disease. This day creates awareness around bullying, social neglect, psychological trauma, and disability of the people affected by it. In some cultures, there is extreme prejudice against people with vitiligo and only educating them with help. The movement calls for a better treatment and care for vitiligo and improvement in the healthcare systems. This is especially needed in poorer countries. People are learning not to tease those with vitiligo. This is because social media highlights the beauty of people with vitiligo. The day shines a positive spotlight on a sensitive issue. Today is also commemorated as National Strawberry Parfait Day in US. To enjoy all the strawberry parfait in the world, strawberry parfait is a divine dessert that not only tastes heavenly, but also looks absolutely beautiful in its bright red and white colors. The dessert's name evokes images of quiet and cozy caves in France, as a perfect part of the name means perfect in French, and we couldn't agree more. Traditionally, the dessert is made juicy, strawberries and ice cream, or whipped cream, or custard and nuts. Many versions also include a dash of liquor and or chocolate syrup. While June 25th honors strawberry parfait, there are many other different types of parfait, with one being on the savory side. For instance, in England, parfait is the name of smooth meat paste made with chicken or duck liver mixed with strong alcohol. There is also commemorated as National Catfish Day in US. It brings a host of amazing facts and benefits related to aquatic animals. Catfish gets its name from the long barbels that hang on either side of its mouth, much like whiskers of a cat. While many people are not a big fan of consuming fish in general because of the fishy's smell, taste, and many others enjoy it, either cooked or raw, catfish is one of the highest consumed fish species in America. You can have it breaded and fried or grilled or cold served with tangy fruity salsa. Apart from its great taste, catfish farming has led to the stable income for many fish farmers, as well as provided for a sustainable and environmentally friendly source of food. So today is also commemorated as National Camp Counts Day in US. It seeks to offer children, especially underprivileged ones, the chance to take part in the ongoing tradition. For most kids, life-changing, exciting experiences are mostly gotten from summer camps. Mention summer camp, even overseas, and the idea of Eskimos, campfire stories, and canoeing comes up. The day strives to ensure that underprivileged children can also have summer camps. It is meant to make camping accessible to children. Camp offers them recreational fun and chance to meet and make new friends. The outdoor experience allows children to have other real life fun aside from one technology use. Today is also commemorated as Mozambique Independence Day. In Mozambique, also known as the Dia da Independencia Nacional, the federal holiday is a time for every Mozambican citizen to reflect and rejoice in the national independence. Nestled in southeastern region of Africa along with Indian coastline, Mozambique is famous for its beaches and warm climate, which makes it a top-notch tourist attraction. But beyond its allure and the sun-kissed landscape is a rich history not many people knew about. From its European colonialism to its revolution against Portugal, Mozambique is a country that has fought hard for order, peace, and independence. It's time to honor the country's culture and identity. Today is also commemorated as Goat's Cheese Day in United States to celebrate to celebrate the wonders and benefits of the distinctively ethnic Tangy cheese. Goat's Cheese Day is celebrated every 25th as a way to appreciate and bask in its wonders. From the humble crumbly feta to the thick viscous salami, goat's cheese is a popular type of cheese consumed across the world. Goat's Cheese Day was initiated in 1998 by the American Cheese Society and French goat cheese producer Bongrain, now named Sevencia Fromage and Dairy. It was created to help raise awareness about the advantages of consuming goat's cheese, such as its health benefits and its distinctive flavor. It is thought to have originated as far as 5000 BC in ancient Greece, where the goat is first domesticated. In its simplest form, the cheese is made by allowing raw goat milk to naturally curdle, thus resulting in its distinctively sour, tangy flavor. Because of this, the goat's milk is responsible for shaping the taste of the cheese. Its flavor is due to the presence of more medium chain fatty acids in goat's milk, which are less likely to be stored as fat in the body than regular cheese. Vitamins A, E, K, B3, and B6 are also abundant in goat cheese. Goat cheese does not melt in the same manner that cow's milk cheese does when heated up. Thus, the Alpine goat and the La Mancha goats are most common cheese goat breeds today. Chevre or goat's cheese is also beloved delicacy. Throughout the world, many countries have developed their own goat cheese varieties and some becoming staple foods and national delicacies. Feta, halloumi, garaksta, lebne, and boucheron are some of the most well-known goat cheeses. It is also sold and eaten in variety of forms, textures such as dry, hard, crumbly, cozy. Thus, it's versatile cheese to be consumed as it fits well part of spreads, dips, salads, sandwiches, and many others. Thus, Goat's Cheese Day is a way to express our love for the delicacy. It has colored millions of tongues in its flavor. Today is also commemorated as Global Beatles Day. Music lovers worldwide come together to celebrate Global Beatles Day on June 15th. The occasion pays tribute to the Beatles and the impact they had on both music history and pop culture. Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison first recorded together as a foursome in 1962 after producer George Martin fired original drummer Peter Best. The band's work throughout the decade remains unparalleled in pop music. It's also commemorated as Croatia Independence Day in Croatia. to commemorate when Croatia proclaimed its intentions to sever its ties with Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Croatia became an independent country after breaking away from Yugoslavia in 1991. Croatia is one of the youngest independent countries in the world. Croatia Independence Day is known as Dan Neovisnosti in Croatia. It's previously celebrated on October 8, which is now marked as the day of the Croatian Parliament. Once a national public day, Croatia Independence Day is no longer an off day and has become a Memorial Day purely. Croatia Independence Day was celebrated for the first time in 2002. Croatia's main history dates back to 9 AD, when sections of what is now Croatia were absorbed into Roman Empire. Diocletian was the first Roman emperor from the region, and his palace was built in Split after his abdication in 305 AD. This palace became his retirement residence as well as shelter for the last de jure Western Roman Emperor Julius Nepos, who fled in Italy in the 5th century. Croats arrived in the Roman province of Dalmatia during the 7th and 9th centuries. They then established the Duchy of Croatia, which spanned parts of modern-day Croatia. The Croats accepted Christianity between the 7th and 9th centuries, and Pope John VIII recognized Duke Branimir as Croatia's first ruler on June 7, 897. Tomislav became the first king of Croatia in 925, taking Croatia into its golden age. This golden age ended in 1102 when Croatia was absorbed into the Hungarian Empire. Although it is still retained its autonomy, the ruler of Croatia Ban was appointed by the Hungarian king. Today is also commemorated as Color TV Day in US. Watching color television is something most of us take for granted these days, but this wasn't always the case. The first television program we saw were in black and white, and that was only we could watch them. It wasn't until the middle of 20th century the color television watching became the standard in the United States. It is only fair that color televisions should be celebrated on their unique day, which is Color TV Day. This event commemorates the birth of color television and the role it has played in our culture since its inception. The development of fully colored televisions changed the face of television forever. In the world of television, as we know it, would be considerably different. Even though they were far more challenging to manufacture, numerous innovators across the globe worked hard to develop such a gadget that would allow millions of people to see wireless broadcasts that were replicated in vivid color. Such attempts began in the experimental stage during the 19th century. The first prototype appeared in 1928, public broadcasting in 1940, and black and white transmission extinction began in the mid-70s following the tremendous success of black and white television broadcasting in the United States. CBS researchers under the direction of Peter Goldmark approved a heavy and massive mechanical television system in 1950, with the first color transmission taking place in June of the following year. Because of the expensive cost of color television sets, the limited quantity of the color television material available, black and white television sets remained popular until the mid-1960s, even though many American television stations began broadcasting in color as early as 1954. So today is also commemorated as Windjammer Days on June 25th to July 1st. So this festival is held every year in the last week of June. Is the boat day region of Maine to commemorate the enormous sailing ship known as Windjammer. This year, this takes place from June 25th to July 1st. providing all ancient boat lovers with a fun way to begin their summer. The Windjammer Days events cover an entire spectrum from maritime tours to antique boat parades to live music on the show. They kick off this event with the blessings of fleet tradition, which is celebrated internationally too. We only had one form of transportation before motorways, motor vehicles, and the interconnected world. Ships. These ships not only transported people, but they were also only means of transporting products to other parts of the world. The Windjammer, our ancient sailing ship, was a very specific category with square-shaped towering sails, 3 to 5 a ship. These vessels could glide over the water effortlessly. They also had loads of space in them to carry a larger amount of goods. The Windjammer's high utility and a cargo capacity made them perfect to transport low-priced goods like food grains and fertilizers to ports to extreme hardship. While the commercial maritime industry mostly ignored the ships, they retained their popularity among a smaller section of tradesmen. Then in the 19th and 20th centuries, modern steamships came around and stole everyone's spotlight. Sailing ships not powered by motors didn't have much use and began to be scuttled. This was when an ex-Navy man named Frank Swift turned the tide and introduced a whole region to leisure sailing on windjammers. Attracted to the older sailing ships since he was a little boy, Swift only hit upon the ideas of windjammer sailing for people on a trip to Maine after seeing derelict coasting schooners in the harbors instead of scuttling them. He wanted to refurbish the vessels and carry vacationers back and forth, and so, with a little help from his sailing friends, Swift began to offer special passenger cruises on windjammers, continuing operations for 25 odd years, even as cargo schooners were being replaced with modern sailing vessels, everyone else. So the decline of sailing steam-powered modern vessels are much faster and easier to manage. They successfully replaced the sailing vessels of that era. The first official passenger cruises began in the Maine with 3 lady passengers on board in 1936. Frank Swiss passenger cruises now have an extra load. The vessels transport and pulpwood to paper mills to help in increased paper production in 1943. This entire week and related events are organized by non-profit community organization Friends of Windjammer Days in 1960. So today is also commemorated as National Boys and Girls Club Week from June 25th to July 1st, which is celebrated annually in mid-spring or early summer. There is no fixed date because it changes every year. And this year it takes place from June 25 to July 1st. For more than 75 years, boys and girls clubs across the countries have been holding this week to celebrate invaluable service that clubs bring to the community. So this special day offers the general public the opportunity to experience the life-changing programs that Boys and Girls Clubs provides to children and teenagers across the United States. So finally, the last commemoration of the day, Deaf Blind Awareness Week, commemorated from June 25th to July 1st, 2024 in US. This week is marked annually during the last week of June in honor of leading humanitarian Helen Keller's birthday on June 27th. Being deaf and blind herself, Keller's work made a big difference in the lives of deaf-blind people. The term deaf blindness refers to a combination of visual and auditory impairments and is much more common than many people realize. Over 15 million people worldwide are estimated to be living with severe deaf-blindness. So besides commemorating Kellen's accomplishments, this week is a chance for us to raise awareness of the condition and make the world a more deaf-blind friendly place. On June 22nd, 1984, President Ronald Reagan proclaimed the last week beginning June 24 as Helen Keller Deaf Blind Awareness Week, commemorating American author and educator Helen Keller's birthday. This week raises public awareness of the difficulties caused by deaf blindness and highlights the potential contributions that deaf blind people make to the society. The latter is best achieved by fostering independence and creating employment opportunities, as well as measures to cure and prevent deaf blindness. So with this, we shall end the commemorations for the day. Thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful occasion. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow at the same time, 6 o'clock, with the same joining link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.